There's something special brewing in Charlotte this weekend. It's not just another regular season NFL game. It's a clash between two teams that both call this city home in some way. Panthers versus Bills. Charlotte's current team against what some call Charlotte's adopted team. It's a battle that has fans buzzing from uptown to Concord and all the way through the Carolinas, and for good reason. On one side, you've got a Panthers squad finally showing signs of life, sitting above .500 for the first time in what feels like forever. On the other, a Bills team coming off a bye, hungry, frustrated, and fully aware that the margin for error is shrinking fast in the AFC. Let's be real, this one has been circled for a while. Charlotte has quietly turned into a second home for Bills Mafia. The bars, the neighborhoods, the flags on front porches, they've all told the story for years. Buffalo fans have moved here in waves, and now they've got their shot to see their team play in their new backyard. You can feel the energy already building, and that buzz is going to explode on Sunday afternoon when these two teams meet at Bank of America Stadium. But this game is about more than just fandom and flags. There's real football drama on the field. There's urgency, and that urgency is especially real for Buffalo. They're 4-2, yes, but that record doesn't tell the whole story. They're coming off back-to-back losses, and the last two games raised more questions than answers. Losing to Atlanta and then to New England, both in games where the defense couldn't come up with stops and the offense shot itself in the foot. That's not the kind of football we've come to expect from Sean McDermott's team. Now, coming off the bye, McDermott is 8-0 historically after a week off, and this week becomes a critical test to see if that trend holds. And it's not like they're walking into a cupcake matchup either. The Panthers might not be a Super Bowl contender, but they're dangerous. They've been winning with grit, with a run game that's punching defenses in the mouth, and with a defense that, while still inconsistent, is beginning to figure things out. They're at home. They're confident. And there's just enough mystery about who will start at quarterback to keep Buffalo guessing. Even if most people around the team already know Bryce Young probably isn't playing. The rookie quarterback suffered a high ankle sprain last week in that win over the Jets. And while the team is calling it day-to-day, everything about the situation points to veteran Andy Dalton getting the start. And here's the thing, that might actually be better for Carolina in the short term. Dalton's been in the league over a decade. He's seen every type of defense, and he knows how to keep an offense on schedule. He might not be the long-term answer, but he doesn't need to be. He just needs to keep the train on the tracks this Sunday. Now, for Buffalo, the stakes are massive. Drop this one, and you're staring straight at Kansas City next week. Lose again, and you're back at .500 with half the season gone. That's a disaster scenario for a team with Super Bowl ambitions. But here's where it gets interesting. Buffalo is finally getting some reinforcements. Two big defensive additions are expected to debut this week. Edge rusher Michael Hoy and defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. These are veterans brought in specifically to bolster a defensive line that's been patchwork at best through the first 6 games. In a twist of fate, Ogunjobi will make his debut in the same city where his football journey began, from Charlotte High School standout to the first ever draft pick out of UNC Charlotte, now suiting up for the Bills in his hometown. That's a full circle moment, and Buffalo needs him to deliver. Because this Bills defense, as physical and talented as it is on paper, has struggled mightily against the run. The numbers are brutal. They're giving up nearly 6 yards per carry, dead last in the league. They've been gashed week after week, and now they're going up against a Panthers offense that's quietly become one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. Carolina ranks 2nd in total rushing yards, 3rd in EPA per rush, and 5th in success rate. And they're doing it with two backs that have very different styles, but complement each other perfectly. Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. Dowdle has stepped up in a huge way in the absence of Hubbard, especially in wins over Miami and Dallas. But now that Chuba's healthy again, the Panthers have a true 1-2 punch in the backfield. And while fans have been quick to declare Dowdle the RB1 moving forward, the coaching staff isn't thinking that way. They're planning to use both guys. Hubbard, after all, is a team leader and a player this franchise committed to with a multi-year extension. There's no question he's part of the plan. In a game like this, with ball control and physicality being paramount, Carolina's best chance is to lean on both backs and dominate time of possession. That's the chess match we'll be watching. Can Buffalo, with its new pieces up front, finally stop the bleeding in the run game? Or will Carolina dictate tempo and keep Josh Allen on the sideline? Because make no mistake, that's the key. The best way to beat Buffalo isn't just to outscore them. It's to keep Allen out of rhythm, off the field, and out of your red zone. But let's not ignore what Allen is capable of. Somehow, we're this deep into the breakdown, and his name's just now coming up, and that's probably the last time it's going to happen all weekend. Allen is still Allen. He's still one of the best players in football, and even after 2 underwhelming games, he's ranked top 5 in EPA per play. When he's locked in, he's borderline unstoppable. And if Buffalo jumps out to a lead, forcing Carolina into a more pass-heavy game script, that's when Allen becomes lethal, because now you've got a veteran QB in Dalton trying to keep up with one of the best offenses in the league. Still, this Panthers defense has looked better in recent weeks. They held Breece Hall in check, bottled up the Cowboys, and limited the Dolphins to just over 30 rushing yards. The defensive front is starting to look more cohesive, and if they can maintain that level of play while also creating pressure on Allen, they've got a shot to make this one a game. But pressure alone won't be enough. The Panthers will need takeaways. Buffalo has turned the ball over 6 times in their last 3 games, and Carolina needs to capitalize if they want a real shot at pulling off the upset. And speaking of pressure, there's also a hidden revenge storyline brewing on Buffalo's sideline. Offensive coordinator Joe Brady returns to Carolina, where he was once hailed as the next offensive genius before being abruptly fired mid-season by Matt Rule. That chapter still leaves a sour taste for a lot of fans, and probably for Brady too. This might be a quiet revenge game, but it's a personal one. If there's anyone who knows how to poke holes in this Panthers defense, it's him. This isn't just another Week 8 matchup. This is personal, it's emotional, and it's going to be loud. Real loud. Not just because Panthers fans are starting to believe in their team again, but because Bills Mafia is about to turn Charlotte into Buffalo South. The bars are packed, the flights are booked, and you better believe the tailgates are going to be rocking from sunup to kickoff. And look, a month ago, this felt like a tune-up game for Buffalo, an easy bounce back before Kansas City. But not anymore. Carolina's got momentum. They're running the ball. They're winning games. They're building confidence. And suddenly, this game feels like a whole lot more than just another date on the calendar. And now that momentum Carolina has been riding into this matchup, it's real. It's tangible. The locker room feels it. The fans feel it. And the players have started to show that confidence on the field. Even with Bryce Young sidelined and Andy Dalton likely stepping in again, there's a different kind of belief surrounding this Panthers team. One that hasn't existed in a long time. They've rattled off 3 wins in a row, and they've done it not because of explosive quarterback play, but because of their physical identity on both sides of the ball. They run hard, they hit hard, and they control the pace. That's the formula that wins games when your quarterback situation isn't elite. And while Dalton is clearly a stopgap, not the long-term guy and not someone fans are going to rally around for seasons to come, he's exactly the kind of quarterback who can take care of the football, read a defense, and deliver in structure. You're not going to go off script and wow anyone with arm angles or highlight reel runs. But if you protect him and run the ball well, he'll keep the offense afloat. This weekend, that might be more than enough. Because what Carolina really wants is to keep it simple. Pound the rock. Short throws. Move the chains. Limit mistakes. Force Buffalo to respect the run and keep their safeties honest. It's about controlling time of possession, draining the clock, and turning this into a slugfest, the exact type of game Buffalo has struggled with recently. Now let's not forget, the Bills' defense is still dangerous. Even with the issues against the run, this is a group with stars at every level. But the cracks have been exposed. They've been pushed around at the line of scrimmage. They've missed tackles in the second level. And they've allowed teams to dictate the tone of the game. The addition of Larry Ogunjobi should help stabilize things inside. And if Michael Hoy is everything Buffalo hopes he is off the edge, then maybe the front 7 can finally start to impose its will. But that's still a big if, because stopping this Panthers ground game is no small task. The combination of Chuba Hubbard's vision and balance with Rico Dowdle's burst and power gives Carolina a duo that wears down defenses over 4 quarters. Add in a line that, despite rotating players nearly every week due to injury, has somehow stayed consistent in execution, and you've got one of the most quietly efficient rushing attacks in football. The Bills are going to have to stack the box and force Andy Dalton to beat them through the air. That's the gamble they'll likely take. And honestly, it's not a bad one. Dalton doesn't have the kind of firepower around him to stretch the field consistently. His receivers are young, still developing, and not built to win in isolation. Terrace Marshall is coming along, Leggett is showing flashes, and T-Mac might be the most reliable of the group right now, but none of them strike fear into a defense the way a true WR1 would. That said, this could be one of those games where one of these young guys steps up. These are the games where confidence is built, and all it takes is 1 or 2 big plays to swing momentum. Meanwhile, Buffalo's offense has to prove it can be explosive again, because lately it hasn't been. The lack of rhythm has been glaring in the last 2 games. Drives stall. Penalties kill momentum. Turnovers come at the worst possible times. It feels like the Bills' offense is trying to do too much and ending up doing too little. But this could be the week they finally find their groove again. Carolina's defense, while improved, hasn't faced a quarterback like Josh Allen yet this season. They've gone up against Dak Prescott, sure, and that game didn't go well for Dallas, to Carolina's credit. But Allen is a different animal entirely. He's more physical than any other quarterback in the league. He extends plays like few others can. And when he decides to take over a game, there's not much a defense can do. The key for Carolina will be getting pressure on him without blitzing too often. That's the challenge. If you bring extra heat and don't get home, Allen will make you pay, either with his legs or with one of those ridiculous throws on the move. But if you sit back and play coverage, he'll eventually find a soft spot. The Panthers are going to need a huge performance up front from Brian Burns and Derek Brown. They've been great this year, especially against the run, but this is the kind of game where they need to be game wreckers. And Carolina will also have to keep tabs on James Cook. He's been one of the biggest developments in the Bills' offense over the last year and a half. With Joe Brady unlocking more ways to get him in space, Cook has become a versatile weapon, one who can run between the tackles, bounce outside, and hurt you in the passing game. It's not just about stopping Josh Allen anymore. Now you've got to watch for Cook in the flat, or motioning out wide, or taking a screen for 20 yards. That added layer makes Buffalo much harder to defend when they're in sync. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL, whispers are turning into roars as sources suggest that star running back SAQUON Barkley has reportedly signed with the Buffalo Bills. The speculation, still unconfirmed by official channels, has already ignited a frenzy among fans, analysts, and fantasy football enthusiasts alike. If true, this would mark one of the most unexpected and audacious moves of the offseason, upending what many considered a settled landscape in the league. Barkley, who has long been a cornerstone of the New York Giants offense, has faced a share of highs and lows over recent seasons, including injury setbacks that tested both his resilience and the patience of fans. Yet, whispers from NFL insiders hint that the Bills, known for their aggressive approach under head coach Sean McDermott, may have swooped in with an offer too tempting for the running back to resist. The potential fit seems electrifying on paper. Pairing Barkley's explosive speed and vision with Buffalo's high-octane passing game could redefine the Bills' offensive identity. Social media is already ablaze with reactions, ranging from disbelief to outright celebration. Imagine SAQUON running behind that line, one fan tweeted, encapsulating the excitement coursing through Buffalo's fan base. Meanwhile, skeptics question whether Barkley's injury history could temper the potential impact, but most agree that the buzz itself is undeniable. Sports talk shows and podcasts are seizing on every tidbit, dissecting possible formations, fantasy points, and even how this might shift the balance in the AFC East. While the deal remains in the realm of rumor for now, The mere suggestion has created a ripple effect across the league. Rival teams are reportedly assessing their own rosters in light of the potential signing, while sportsbooks have already adjusted odds on Buffalo's Super Bowl chances. Whether this becomes reality or remains an off-season fantasy, one thing is clear. The NFL offseason just got a whole lot more interesting, and SAQUON Barkley's name is at the center of the storm. Fans will be watching closely, hoping the whispers materialize into headlines, and perhaps into game-changing runs on Sundays. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.